Hey everybody, Paul Foster here with Secondhand Productions, and today what we're going to do is we're going to get into a short film by a guy named Frank Anderson, and it's called Hope, so don't go away. So our story begins with Dr. Jacob Thorn, who's an astronomer tasked with this impossible mission to continue the species of the human species. Um, so he is up in this spaceship watching the Earth being pummeled with asteroids and dealing with the grief and the loss of a loved one as well as all of humanity, knowing that he is the sole survivor. Okay, check this out. So watch this first scene. This is really cool stuff. This shows you, I want you to watch this. We're going to talk about it, but this is going to show you how music and the visuals and everything tell a story without a word being spoken. All right, did you catch that? Did you see what just happened there? We have this build up. It's build up. Asteroids are pounding the Earth, and then it cuts back to him, and he has this distressed look on his face, and then it fades to black, and it comes up, and everything's calm. The music's calm. The asteroids aren't like flying in anymore really fast, and it just says hope. And it cuts back to him, and he's like got this sigh of resolve. It's like, kind of this whole focus of resolve, and then he's going to turn and walk away, and then we're going to cut to a flashback. All right, so now our story's kind of moving forward. We have an idea of what's going on here. He's on a spaceship. The Earth's being pummeled. So far, so good, right? Well, now we're going to get into the one part of this entire short film that I think is probably the weakest link. They do a flashback, and they introduce a secondary character. So you got a 10-minute short film. We're 2 minutes into it. Technically, we're still I guess you would say first act kind of stuff. But for some reason, the way they filmed this, there's some mistakes that were made. Okay, they filmed it with several sides, and her side was extremely shaky. And when you have shaky footage or you got the camera moving a lot, it really is supposed to insinuate something. They could have meant that they wanted the camera to move around a lot because she's distressed. She doesn't want to go. But his side was a lot more stable. There's a little bit of movement, but hers was kind of a distraction. I also felt like in this scene, we haven't really gotten to hear from him yet. We can't get into his head because up to now we haven't heard any dialogue. And I feel like they really forced this scene down your throat as an audience. I felt like if you would have cut it up differently, maybe it has a different effect on you. Maybe it creates more trust earlier on. And that can be done. You didn't have to cut it this way, but they felt like it was really important to have this flashback where he's reaching out to his wife or fiance or whoever she is, and talking about this space station, how it's going to save the world. So that was really, it was really, really forced. Watch for yourself.
Hope is the only way to save all life on Earth. Helena?
I I can't go with you, Jacob.
All right, so once we get past that, what I, kind of like questionable acting, a little overacting there, and we move on into the short film, it's kind of like he's moved on and he is going to execute his resolve. His goal is to verify and make sure he's got all the species backed up and he's got specimen examples. And the thing that's kind of like caught him is that that wasn't planned was the asteroids had struck the space station, so it had compromised the hull that was revealed at the very beginning. So he knew he was on borrowed time. So what he did was he secured the payload. He then shut down the space station basically, and he took his bottle and he sat down. One of the most coolest, very well shot, most powerful things in the story is him accepting his fate. And I think this plays out really, really well. The glow stick stuck between legs, so he'd have some form of light as the thing shifts down. You could tell it's getting colder in there with the exhale, and he's drinking the whiskey to kind of like help him kind of transfer. It's like accepting your fate. It's like when people kind of they have to face life or death and they've accepted their fate, then they look at it head on and they move ahead. Very powerful scene, and it moves right into the next part 100,000 years later, when a ship returns from Earth back to the space station, which is kind of like dormant, I guess. And the only question that I really kind of have is, I get a little confused by the ship coming up to the space station from Earth. So it makes me believe that maybe all of Earth wasn't destroyed and he wasn't 100% right, which makes this even more sad. It's like a Greek tragedy in a way. But still, this is a film that I think, when you watch it and you watch it a few times, you can learn a lot from it. There's some really cool tricks here. They've actually done some editing, they did some behind the scenes stuff, so you can go back. They built that whole set that he's in, which is really, really cool. So, and they did it like on a pauper's budget. So, and they explain it. So I'll put those links below so you guys can go check out those behind the scenes videos. But all in all, this is a great film. The big killer I have, and I probably have broken some kind of cardinal rule here, but I went ahead and I recut the scene to handle the communication between her, which I feel is forced, and it's not a very good flashback, and I recut that. And so at the end of this, you get to watch that. So don't go anywhere. You get to watch my take on their scene, and then I want you to let me know what you liked and what you didn't like about the short film. Did you see how my edit was a little bit different than her edit, and how I transitioned what she was saying and what he was saying and how you can take that and you can overlay that, with other shots and tell a more powerful story. So you want to let us know, definitely hit us up on Paul_SHP at Twitter. And you can just, if you have short films that you're interested in my take on, definitely submit those to me at Twitter, and we'll take those on. I'm having a blast doing this. I love watching short films, so kind of giving you guys my take on them has gone pretty good so far. Everybody liked the one I did on the last short film I did a review on. So until next time, don't go away. I'm going to show you right now my take on that re-edit. Make sure you've gone and watched the original first before you watch what I did to it. That way you can see the differences in how it kind of weaves the story along. And if you're the filmmaker of this one, ignore what I did. What you did was awesome. Loved it. You should have submitted to festivals, and I guarantee that thing should have won some awards at festivals. But until then, we'll definitely see you guys next time. I'm getting back to work somewhere. I got a light switch over here.
I can't go with you.
What?
I can't live the rest of my life up there because you think the world's going to end.
It's gonna happen. And it's gonna happen soon. I thought you were with me on this.
You're the most brilliant man in the world. But even you can be wrong. No one else has been able to duplicate your findings.
That's because they won't accept it. Hope is the only way to save all life on Earth. Helena?
I can't go with you, Jacob.